Hello, everyone, and happy Black Breastfeeding Week. Welcome to Manday Monday. So, let us know where you are joining us from. We're really grateful that you're here. We know that you could have been anywhere else, and we're really, really grateful that you decided to join us today for Manday Monday. And Manday Monday is a time during Black Breastfeeding Week where we hear from the men in our community about the impact that breastfeeding has on them and ways that they can support birth persons in Black breastfeeding, because we know that the more support that birth persons have, the longer that they will breastfeed. So it's really, really important that this becomes a community conversation. So that's the purpose of Manday Monday. Again, we're really, really excited that you're here. If you're watching on Facebook, please, please, please share on your personal page so that more people can join in the discussion. I am Crystal Tennille Irby, and I am the co-host and executive producer of Dim Black Mamas podcast. And so if you can, in the comment section, if you have questions, you can just drop them in the comments and we'll be able to see them. If you have questions or comments as our discussion goes on, you can just put it in the comments and we'll be able to see them, and they may end up on screen. But be sure to tell us where you're joining us from today. So we want to see who's in the building, who's with us today. So that's all that I have. I'm going to introduce our facilitator for today. Are you ready, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, let's go. So this is my favorite part. My favorite thing that I get to do is read people's bios. I call this the receipt portion of an event. So we know that folks just ain't showing up all willy-nilly, but they got receipts. Okay, we got Charleston, West Virginia. Oh, my daughter was born in Charleston, West Virginia. Tampa, Florida in the house. We see you. We see you. Thanks for joining us. Waymond Hayes, who is our facilitator for today, is the Director of Early Learning and Youth Development at Focus Hope. He was one of the first students to attend a Head Start program on the southeast side of Detroit, as well as the first male center administrator to open a Head Start all-male leadership academy at the same agency and location. With over 22 years of experience in the field, Waymond credits deep family involvement in early childhood education as his source of motivation. Waymond earned his bachelor's degree in early childhood education, family studies from Rochester College, and a master's degree in early childhood education from Oakland University. He is currently a doctoral candidate in organization leadership through Grand Canyon University. Waymond is a frequent workshop presenter and speaker who brings complementary but distinctly different experiences to child development. He trains teachers and parents on many early childhood topics. Waymond integrates his work at Focus Hope with the work he does in the community as a Phi Beta Sigma brother. Through his integration, he has orchestrated comprehensive programs and supportive services for the community. He looks forward to continuing his work into the future, guided by Phi Beta Sigma's motto, culture for service and service for community. I mean, you represented it. You gave them a shout out twice. I hope they in the building today. If y'all in the building, your man's gave you a shout out twice. So let them know if you here. If some Zetas here, let them know you here. He gave y'all 2 shout outs. All right. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you to facilitate our panel discussion. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
All right, here we go.
All right. My name is Waymond Hayes, like was stated by Ms. Crystal. I'm director here of Early Learning and Youth Development here at Focus Hope. Over the past few weeks, the men have got together, wonderful gentlemen, have really been focusing on the infertility rate, how men can support women during the whole process while giving men the tools. Could we please welcome our wonderful guests today?
Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing, Mr. Waymond Hayes? How you doing? Thank you for having me.
We got Corey Jackson. We got Juan Ruiz and a team of folks in the room. We got Danielle Holmes Jr. and DJ Kiwi Wells, one of our early Head Start teachers, Corey Shepard, and Mr. Cosby. So today, we got Marcus Holmes, our fatherhood specialist, as well as our community outreach work. What up, Marcus?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
All right. So before we get started, we are a comprehensive service program here at Focus Hope, with our focus mainly on family. We service pregnant mothers. We have a wonderful doula program. I see some of our doulas and our home-based people on here who really help guide us through the whole process. We have family service workers who work with our families, help them create goals. We have male teachers. Could all my male teachers please raise your hand? So we have wonderful male teachers. Mr. Irvin really leads our educational department, along with Ms. Whitley. And Corey Shepard, our compliance manager. Please give him a shout out, Corey. You're muted.
Hope everybody's having a great day. Glad to be a part of this conversation.
So today we're going to really focus on our Black Breastfeeding Week. We're going to focus on how can men support women throughout the whole process. So first part of our discussion, we're going to talk about during the childbirth stage. As young fathers and grandfathers, how are you supporting our women during the childbirth stage? Everybody don't get shy at once. Somebody unmute themselves and let's talk about this.
So to get a better understanding of the question that you're asking, Mr. Hayes, you're asking what are some ways that new fathers or upcoming fathers can support their families during their mother.
I want to know how is my father supporting the mothers in childbirth. So like, for instance, we have DJ on here, who's the new father. How'd that process work out for you? Go ahead. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. All right, we come back to you, Mr. Jackson, as a new grandfather. How is that child process going?
Well, it's going great. I mean, it's just been a part of everything. As far as schooling, teachings, sporting activities, things such as that, and just being a support system to my daughter and and to my grandbabies.
Okay, Mr. Holmes, how's it working out that you hearing from the guys that you've been servicing in the father program, doing the work you've been doing?
Well, some support that some of the guys have displayed that they're giving their child's mother is just reassuring her, asking her first, what does she need from them? You have to get their input on what they need. You can't assume what they need. So be direct and ask, what is it exactly that they need from you? You can always, be encouraging and reassuring, and just be supportive physically and mentally during the whole process, and let them know it's about the child and not about the individual.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Corey, what are you hearing from some of the folks that we're servicing?
Well, one of the big things is that they're getting this information, regarding safe sleep. They're getting a lot of information regarding the practices of being a good father and being responsive to actually what the lady their significant other may request or need. So those are some of the things that are really important for the young fathers to really hear, listen to, take in, so that moving forward and as their relationship builds, whether it grows to matrimony or whether it remains in just a co-parenting relationship, it's going to be really important for them to take these principles that they're learning here and just learning how to interface and deal with the baby's mother.
Okay, so we're going to go to safe sleep for a minute. Mr. Cosby, we know that you attend a lot of safe sleep classes. Tell us about that, please.
So if you're not familiar, here in the city of Detroit, we have a high rate of SIDS deaths. So we're trying to concentrate and cut that down by giving information to the public. A lot of times we know that we have single parent homes, whether it's the father or the mother, and sometimes they work in double jobs where they're sleeping or very sleepy, I should say, coming home, and sometimes they'll lay the baby on them and fall asleep on them, and now we have a death. So we're trying to prevent that as much as we can down here in the city of Detroit.
Okay. So a question was asked, what do you guys know about breastfeeding? And do any of the fathers attend breastfeeding class? So I'm gonna throw that out there to my brothers. What you guys have attended a breastfeeding class besides myself? Any other guys attend a breastfeeding class? All right, Mr. Holmes, you want to tell us about it? We can't hear you, so we need you to go to a room where somebody at. So go into the library, you and Mr. DJ.
Well, while they're doing that, Mr. Hayes, I can speak on my behalf of
Okay.
breastfeeding class. Well, one of the things for me, it was to get a clear understanding that one of the things they taught me directly when I went to breastfeeding class was to make sure that even though the mom is breastfeeding using skin to skin, is also a support for the mom. So when the mom has the baby on her chest, the saliva from the child is increasingly telling the mother's body to generate more milk. So I believe when they explained that to me, that the child's skin to skin touch from her mother is essential to helping mother to produce more milk and make it an easier relationship because the child had a connection through the mom based around being pregnant. So now it's the milk, the skin to skin, producing the milk. They're beginning to build on that relationship. The child is helping mom make more milk, which is what we support and what we need for our families. It provides nutrients. It's more healthier intake for the food for the children. It's coming directly from the main source, which is the mother who's eating healthy throughout that pregnancy time, that provides that child that extra support. That's what I learned in my breastfeeding class.
That was great. Anybody else? Go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you now. There you go.
What was the question?
What do you know about breastfeeding? And did you support mom doing the breastfeeding?
What do I know about breastfeeding? I know
Yes,
that
sir.
it's very healthy. A child gets a lot of nutrients and things coming from the mother. I only can tell by my experience. My children, one of my child don't rarely get sick due to she was breastfed. So that's a plus I see on that. I support the mother by talking about the benefits of breastfeeding with my family members, because it's all about how can I make a woman feel comfortable feeding her child in any environment, whether we go into a restaurant or we just out in the park or we at home or at my family member's house. But I talk to my families about breastfeeding because it's about making people be more aware to show another person comfort that is doing the breastfeeding. So it just doesn't falls upon me. It evolves around the surrounding and making the woman see that it is looked upon as something natural, and that helps her continuously wanting to breastfeed. So that's what I do in regards to supporting the woman, is actually giving more people information on breastfeeding.
Okay, that was great. What you said, Holmes. So what I heard you say is really making mom feel comfortable, and you support her by making mom feel comfortable. So you made your significant other feel comfortable during the breastfeeding process.
And also just giving everybody else the knowledge so that the atmosphere can have that comfortability. Sometimes the mother can feel comfortable, but if everyone else around is not aware of the benefits of breastfeeding, then it can make the mother feel uncomfortable, feeling like they're in an unwanted environment. So you have to set the tone of the environment properly. Even going to a restaurant, you may want to pick a certain seat if they have them open that's available so that breastfeeding can be done without any altercations.
Okay. So for Mr. Wells, you work inside of Early Head Start with a lot of our babies. Could you tell us the benefit about how you help service families that mothers still breastfeeding?
Yes. Babies who still breastfeed, some of the benefits of that are lower death, lower death rate and stronger immune systems. And being in a classroom where we are still developing, some babies don't really know that germs spread, and we got to keep them safe, especially now. Hand washing and things like that. And when they are breastfed, they have lesser chances of getting sick, and they have less chances of, let me see, catching different bacterias.
Okay. So how do you work with the families to support them on that end when the babies come
I
in?
I encourage them to breastfeed. You know, it's
Mhm.
normal. Our babies need that,
Okay.
and if they don't have it, then I don't know. I'm pretty new to it, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
Oh, you
I'm
did a
learning
great.
from y'all. Go on.
So no, you did a great job. Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. One of the other questions was, how do men support women with breastfeed with their mental health? So first off, one thing that we focus on with the fathers is you cannot support or fill nobody cup unless you fill in your own first. So we do work. We also always encourage the men to really make sure they stay in a mental capacity, as well as focus on their mental health. Be patient with the mothers. Be patient with themselves for being new fathers who are still learning the process, and being vulnerable to ask questions for things you don't know. So them some of the things right there we encourage men to do. Do all the fathers agree and fellas agree with that? Okay. But at the same time, how do you support, once you did that, how do you support mothers during the whole process of after birth? Not just breastfeeding, but after birth period.
Well, for me, I think it's there's certain roles you have to pick up. There's different things you have to do around the house. There's different errands you may have to run because the mom is in no condition, and so there's just different roles. We have to step up and help out in a way to be conducive as it relates to the child and the parent.
Okay. So you said take on additional tasks.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody else?
Um,
Go ahead,
That
host.
yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to actually helping after birth, due to bills still have to get paid,
Okay.
and my time that I would love to be there with that significant other. I go through my mental stage, whether do I call off from work or do I stay home? And if I call off from work, how long would I have this home to be in? So
Mm-hmm.
it comes a little difficult, but when the time come like towards the nights, I try to stay up for that baby. If that baby like to stay up late, help out. Well, we both interacting without the kitchen. I mean, with the kitchen, just communicate. I think just communication is the biggest key. That's the biggest thing. I think communication. I only can do as much as I got with the time that's given throughout the day. There's not enough hours in the day to support the woman and work, so it comes stressful. So not really sure how. I'm not really sure how on the mental piece of the woman how to support really after birth, because it all depends on keeping your home to be able to be supportive. So it's kind of hard in the guy position. um, Not really getting opportunity to take off work because our woman had a baby.
Okay. Nice point. Thank you so much. Mr. Marcus Holmes, you were saying something?
I think it all depends on the individual and the individual family. You can be supportive in multiple ways. Sometimes that support can just be a listening ear. Sometimes that support can just be your presence. Sometimes you might have to take, like Mr. Jackson said, take on more of a responsibility in the house and have maybe a role reversal depending on how your house is ran. So for the mental health piece and for just physical health, period, it depends on the individual, and you go off what they need.
Okay. So let me ask a question. Have all the fellas on here who have a child, how was your mental health after your child was born?
I just say I thank my mom for coming out, being supportive, helping out, and I'm really happy that her mother came out and support. Without them other mothers, the grandmothers, I think us fathers will have it really hard. So it was the mothers that came out and helped me out.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, you was about to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I could speak to this, your mental health, it's always challenging because it was one way before the child, and then after the child, baby is born, and then you just have to do a lot of readjusting. I couldn't comment on the other questions, but I think a couple of my counterparts already said that you're going to have to take on a lot of other responsibilities as far as comforting the mother and seeing the things that she needs, and considering that her body has went through a lot of traumatic stress and things to the like. So it's just going to be you readjusting your thinking and expectations of that relationship, concerning that wife and that child at that time.
All right, thank you. I see a lot of suggestions in the chat about prenatal leave, family leave. So fellas who don't know, yes, you can most jobs do offer family leave for a lot of your jobs. I know a lot of times, have men ever been frowned upon for taking family leave on childbirth? Or is it acceptable? Let's talk about that for a second, since somebody put that question out there. Have any men ever took a family leave?
No, I've never taken family leave, but I believe during both of my children's birth, I kind of needed some time to be able to regather myself. With each person here, I have multiple children, my two, so each birth for my child was different, which means my wife felt differently at each childbirth. So it was more stress put on me because we both were facing those challenging behaviors or temperaments, like Mr. Lewis has stated, where the mom was just getting back into her what they call a neonatal period, which is the first 4 months of the child's life. So that first 4 months is kind of hard for the mother because she's trying to get everything back readjusted to her normalcy, which can also cause that postpartum depression. But for me, it was just knowing all these things and trying to adjust to each one of those temperaments that she was having. I didn't have a way out for myself. And what I mean by that was I focused more on my work. At that time, I focused more on my schooling. I put a lot of effort into those type of things to kind of take myself away, not just separate myself from what was going on, but to take myself a piece of myself. That was one way I could get a hold of myself, by learning and educating myself, and then was able to go back. So each pregnancy is going to always be different. Each birth for me was totally different. I experienced two different women during that time because she was two different people for two different situations due to their pregnancy. But for me, it was just being there and being supported the best way I could.
That's a good point. Thank you for sharing that, Earl.
Can I add on something?
Yes, sir.
One thing that I did notice, having children already in the house before the child is born, my mental health kind of got off structured due to I felt like I wasn't giving attention to the children that already been there, and just trying to figure out how to spread love evenly throughout the household. I think that's where it comes more stressful, and it's like I give off my wrong communication, like I don't want to be bothered, but it's just me trying to adjust my mind. So mental health is real big within that pregnancy for us guys as well with the females. And I don't think we have enough conversations based on how each other feel, to really get a grasp, understand that what's the leading role when the baby is born, what is a person supposed to do with children that's already there and the child that's just being born? How much attention supposed to be given to either the mother, the children that was already there, and then the newborn, and then attention to my own self. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. So I really want to stress this point is that a lot of males, this is new for a lot of us, and really being vulnerable to have this discussion at the time. I applaud each man on here for having this discussion and being a part of that, because a lot of men are not vulnerable enough to have these type of discussions and to say, at all things they don't know. So please, let's continue on the conversation. The fellas in the room, with you, Juan, let's bring some of their thoughts in. Like, we have a lot of single fellas in there. How's that process going, even with our single fellas?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Can you hear us?
Yep. So, Juan, when your child was born, you did skin to skin because I seen a picture of you in the doula's office. How did it? Did you tell us about that?
It was interesting because that was my third child, my wife, my youngest, and every time I thought I was highly, like I knew everything, quote unquote, as a father, and every time I learned something new, and that skin to skin was so important because me and my youngest have such a close bond, and I find that is so important because that helped me when my wife was having them late nights and she was tired. I could take the baby over, and because she knew my skin, my scent, and everything else, it would help her get some sleep because she was the one that had to do all the sacrificing of the time. And yes, I was still working, doing the dishes, laundry, cooking, and cleaning. And when she needed a break, it was just, I was glad that I was able to help because with the other two, it was a lot harder because of that skin to skin, that bond. I had a little bit with him, but I didn't do it at the first onset of birth. I didn't know any better. You know, I always kept them clothes, but I had clothes on. And when I learned that from my wonderful doula, it just really made that bond so much stronger.
So I thought maybe she was so close to you because she looked just like you. Like,
all my too.
Yeah, they do. But your baby girl looked just like you. Thank you for sharing that, Juan. Yeah. For me, the skin to skin was important. I did it with my last child as well, my baby girl. And just putting her there on my chest and just letting her feel my heartbeat and feeling her. That just made, it's a different type of feeling as a father. Any other fellas did skin to skin?
I did skin to skin.
Skin to skin as well.
Okay. Tell us about it, Holmes.
My first child, when it was skin to skin, I was just so scared. I was so nervous because I just seen a new child be born and didn't know nothing, you know. Then I had hair on my chest at the time. And I'm like, oh, is she going to take the hair or whatever? But when I did skin to skin, her heart rate adjusted with mine. And my second child, she was, when it was skin to skin with her, it was like they took on my heart rate, you know, because I guess them coming out, their heart rate was just pumping, or matching up with the moms, I guess. But when they came to me, it was like the child just got more calm. It was like they were trying to come inside my body, like they were trying to merge with me. And that connection actually is so crazy because my 2-year-old, she would just call my name, Dad, 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 Dad. And I'd be like, yes, I love you. And then just run off. And my 3-year-old, she just loved to be attached and be around both mom and dad. But when it comes to me and she had to separate and go to her own mom's house, she always wanted me to pick her up and talk to her about when the next time I'm about to see her. So I know she loved my hugs and she loved squeezing my arms and talking about muscles. You know what I'm saying? So I think that skin to skin contact brought an inner communication that I can't even describe. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
You know, the amazing thing about this is just these type of techniques that are developing, this type of information that is being shared with men. They're able to get this information and use this practically in supporting their own child's development and developing the techniques like this. I mean, you know, typically men are just we're kind of, you know, in a place that I'm gonna put my clothes on when I hold the baby, or I have the transfer cloth when I'm gonna hold the baby. But when you understand the contact and the intimacy that's developed just by allowing the child to lay right on to your skin, you know, it really helps that child to bond. So, you know, it's information like this that is not always a practical part, but it's information that needs to be shared because it really supports the child's development. So, you know, this is really a great technique that needs to be shared with more men.
Can I say something?
Yes.
So for me, I have 3 children. I have 2 sons in college, and I have a daughter that's a nurse at the DMC. I didn't know anything about skin to skin, fellas. I mean, maybe I could have had this training 25 years ago. So what I did was similar to what Mr. Holmes said, as far as hugging and kissing on them all day long and expressing love, right? That's all. I mean, it got to be embarrassing as they got older. And then that's when I realized I had to back up. You know, when they 11, 12, 13 years old, they didn't want to be hugged and kissed on the cheek. So that's fine. I get it. But then the next chapter came to grandbabies. So once again, the skin to skin I didn't know anything about, but you know, nothing changed because it's the hugs and kisses for them, you know, that gets us through. So that's my, I guess that would be my skin to skin.
Okay.
Mark, go ahead.
Mark.
I want to just go back a little bit and touch on the mental health of men and the maternity leave as well. I know society favors women, but these things are offered to men in most occupations. Men does have the chance to have a maternity leave, and we experience mental challenges too during these times, but that's not what's advertised and talked about in these forums. So by me being the fatherhood specialist here, I would just, wanted to get it out there that we do go through certain things during these times, and we can be supportive to our women, but we need the support as well.
Because I'm still going through.
We all still going through.
As a father, as a man. No, go ahead.
Well, no, I wanted to speak on that skin to skin piece one more time. For my first, my mom used to tell me, you keep that baby on you like that, sleep on you, that baby gonna be up under you all the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that's what I took from it. I want my kids up under me for the rest of my life. So that I didn't know that it was called skin to skin at that time. I was just doing something that was passed down generation to generation. But at that moment, I realized that I made promises. When you have your child laying on your chest, they sleep, they laugh and bubbling, whatever it is, boy or girl, as a man, we make our truest promises to that child at that moment. We vow things. We make the deepest commitments to them that we feel that no parent can break, because I'm your father. And no matter who's on this planet, I'm going to be the only one that's going to be able to protect you. And as a father, in that sense, that was like the most precious time for me, both times. And I was lucky to have two opportunities, but to be able to have those bonds, make those commitments to my children through the love that just off of skin to skin, really, truly sets the tone on how you're going to be as a father moving forward and supporting your family as a whole, in my beliefs.
Oh, that was a good point, Irvin, because it's true. Like I said, it's skin to skin with my daughter, but even with my sons and my oldest daughter, with holding them in my arm, you do make that commitment to them by saying, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to be there for you. And it's just real, just holding your baby in your arms. I mean, just that feeling is just undescribable. But let's go back to, at the same time, the commitment that we make to the mother and how we support her during that time. I don't know how many other fellas been inside of the room during while the child's been born. I mean, how many other fellas been in there besides myself? Just to see a mother go through that whole process, just devastating, and nothing that you can do to protect her. It's like you want to take the pain away, but it's just something that you can't describe. Anybody want to pick it up and take it from there? I mean, Dejan, how did you feel when you see your child being born? We know you one of the newest, youngest fathers on here.
I mean, it was kind of weird when I actually seeing my child born, but as far as support, I held her leg. It was kind of heavy. Was coaching her, coaching her through it. I really wasn't trying to say too much, because she probably would have snapped off on me. But I was just trying to support her the best way I could.
So you did. That was important. You being there and showing your support and holding the leg for there. Anybody else want to share?
Yes, I want to share about it. This is the last thing I'm gonna really share right now. My first child, it was like she was born 10 minutes from getting out of the parking structure and getting inside the Hustle Hospital. And when she came out, she looked dead at me and said, "Aha!" Like, you my daddy, you know what I'm saying? And when being the first child born, I didn't know what to do. I was lost. Cause I'm like, okay, they grabbed my baby and they put the, they clamped the thing and gave me some scissors. And it was real scary. I said I wasn't gonna cut no more umbilical cords. They should test me up. They should practice something like that. But that was scary, cutting that umbilical cord. And then once I cut the umbilical cord, they taking the baby, and I'm looking at the mama, and I'm like, what do I do? She say, follow the baby. So I go follow the baby, you know what I'm saying? But then I thought I had another child coming, but then it's a placenta. I ain't know nothing about the placenta, you know what I'm saying? And when the second baby came, when the second time for the second child to be born, I was more aware, more equipped to know to follow the baby. But I had prevented these doctors from touching the umbilical cord too early because I wanted this child to receive all her T cells. So we make sure that the child get every nutrients and everything they can from out of that placenta. And also,
shout out to Ernestine Mitchell and Denise Costin,
yeah.
wonderful doulas who taught us that.
Yes.
Fathers here at Focus Hope. Each
Gotta
one of
get
us
them
here at the baby.
T-cells.
Let's get them a hand. Let's get them a hand. Our doulas and our home base folks, get them a hand. Go ahead, Holmes. I'm sorry for interrupting you, sir.
Yeah, but and so once they, I didn't want to cut the umbilical cord because that's like a human object, but whatever. They cut it this time for me, but I had to get them T cells out the baby, let it finish pulsating, and I followed the child this time. And I was very supportive with the mom. I was like in the middle of the room watching the baby, looking at her. But through the pregnancy before she came, I was right there in her ear, just talk to her like, breathe. Remember what the movie said, you know what I'm saying? I wish I would have went to some classes, but all I knew was about all the movies I watched, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Them Tyler Perry movies and stuff. So I'm like, breathe, just breathe, you know what I'm saying? Don't turn red, just breathe. It's coming soon. But now I know like most women should have their child, let the gravity take its part, I believe. The way my woman had her babies, it kind of made it harder for her lying on her back.
Okay.
And so on the next child, I would look to try to see if that's going to be a different position because I am expecting another child in about 6 months.
Oh, okay. Congratulations there, brother. Congratulations. Yeah. But for me, that was a scary piece too, with cutting the umbilical cord, because I've seen it connected to my children. And it's like, do they feel this?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, with my last baby girl, I remember it was Ernestine that kept telling me, you wait for so long. And I just couldn't remember how long it was. I mean, you lose all sense of training inside of that room. Only thing I can remember is put the baby on your chest. That's number one. That's what I can remember. But I remember the fear of cutting that umbilical cord because you're assuming that the baby's going to feel it. Anybody else want to share?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to piggyback on everything we just said in a sense, because these are the type of conversations that as fathers don't know going in. These are the things that we are not discussed about umbilical cords, how to properly do certain things for the mom while she's in the pregnancy part or pushing out or in delivery. These are things that we have to get trained on ahead of time, because like Mr. Holmes said, a lot of times men are wasn't allowed inside of there. We left to go get water or left to go do something that was tedious to keep our mind away from the delivery portion of it. Now that we're more active and we're more intentional of being there during the pregnancy, the delivery, is like now we don't have the tools equipped enough. So when we in there, we can say, listen, I know what my lady's going through. I know what she needs at this point, but I need you to support me this way because she did this before. She done that before. And maybe these are strategies that we worked at home that may work best for her, even though she's at the hospital. But these are things that we were never aware of. We always had to stay on the other side of the glass while everybody was in there with the woman. So now it's our responsibility to train other men to understand what it is they're doing for their families. That's going to stop on the infant mortality death rate. It's going to stop on a lot of the things SIDS, because we're trying to equip everybody with the same information. So when they go into these situations with these new children and new relationships, in some cases, everybody know how to communicate. Everybody knows how to support each other. Everybody knows how to support their child once their child arrives. And then we can start addressing all those positive milestones and developmental milestones for that child and as well for the family moving forward. That's my piece on regards to that.
Okay. So let's talk about one other thing about supporting the women again during the breastfeeding process. my suggestion is always to tell me what to do. If you tell me what to do and how what I'm doing is making you feel, I can make the changes necessary. Do all the fellas agree to that? If you agree to that, do like this for me. Let's see some movement. Okay. You don't agree with that, Kevin? Nope. You hear what I said? Okay. Lewis, you have something you want to say real quick?
Yeah, so one of the things that we experience is just to piggyback off what you said, Wayman, you want to know what to be told, what to do. So I don't know what angle that can come from, because at times, especially with the moms, they may not know what, because they're going through everything that they are going through. But some of the stuff is just off of impulse per se, and just kind of filling the needs and filling the voids. And if they, if they're bothered by it, then you back up off of that. But then the biggest thing for me is was always the provision portion. Keep on, making sure that everything is taken care of, and it'll almost take care of itself. But I'm gonna be real brief, just about another 15 seconds. With my first child, I remember I was working and taking care of him, and she'd call and say, well, the baby driving me up a wall and these different kind of things. So I didn't know how to initially, jump in the fire while kind of doing my thing outside the fire as well. So it had to come to a common agreement that we had to just sit down and discuss what's this, what's that, what you need, and try to adjust it that way. That's it.
So Lou, tell us a couple of steps what you did do when she did say that she was the baby driving up the wall, and what did you do after you found it out?
Repeat that again for me. I had to turn my mic up.
I said, so what did you do? How did you jump in and help support her during that time?
Pretty much, man, I think a lady put in here in the post, letting her get as much sleep as she can. But listen, let's be real honest now. I don't know how wide or how deep y'all want to open this up now.
Go ahead.
We got into this thing by jumping in the bed, right? So one of the first things you're going to have to do is bag up out the bed. See, everybody say 6 weeks. So 6 weeks she be healed, but sometimes it might take 10 weeks. It might take 12 weeks. So you got to you have to reapproach the whole sexual component at that point, and that's major with them, because the child produced the change for both of us. Does she still feel the sexual desire for you? We always gonna feel it because we're men, and that's a major approach, kind of putting that to the back burner. Let me just say that, and I'm done. Putting that sex portion to on the side. Y'all boys know it's true. You got to put it to the side.
Go ahead, be honest. I know he's gonna go out this dark tunnel, but since you're there, let's go there. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, the side of not making that just the primary need, okay? Because a man, he can go. She just went through a whole life changing experience, so she needs time to come back. When do you have to? You got to nurture her from here. You may got to run her bath water. You may got to cook the food. You got to go buy the groceries. You got to do everything until she kind of kicks back in and kind of warm up to it. Now that's just one direction. It's a lot of other stuff out there that the women may be like, what's up, let's keep on going. So I can't really speak to that, but I'm done. Y'all have to catch me offline for the
So our brother Lou, he said, put sexual desires aside for a man and let her heal. You said 12 weeks. I mean 12 months. That's a year. That's a long time.
No. I mean, everybody says 6 weeks. I'm saying it can't go up to 12 weeks, but now if you ain't putting no time in for it, it might go to 12 a whole year or something. But that's how you go ahead. Y'all messing with me.
So
man.
really pay attention to her needs and let her be able to express herself during the time of healing, and helping get some rest. Make sure she get rest in time, because once again, if you've really been in a room and experienced childbirth, not far as you actually going through it, but just experiencing what a woman go through and what her body go through, is just something different. So I'm gonna go back to the room in there with the fellas. How's it going? In there with you, Juan?
We doing good over here.
I want to hear about some of the experiences from the fellas in that room right there. Some of the brothers who done been in the motion program. I see brother Patrick there, so he can scoot up. I see brother Patrick in there.
Hold on, they don't even see me.
Hey, I can see you. Just tell us about was you in that room when your daughter was born? Tell us about that process, because you still got a new baby girl too as well.
Yeah, the process was good though. It was a new experience because that was my first daughter, and she's 3 now. But I had to be in there. I had to see. It ain't really grossed me out or nothing. It was just really amazing, like something new I ain't never seen before. Like, and mom's when she was like, it was weird because she wasn't even like tripping like that. She was like laughing with hers. I don't know if it was because she was like happy laughing though. So she wasn't like just yelling and screaming like what I thought it'd be. So mom's I knew then that's why she crazy. That's how I should have known then because she was laughing. You know. But that's that in that case. But it was amazing. I ain't gonna lie. It was something to watch though, and it is what it is. And I cut it and everything. Yep.
Did you do skin to skin?
Yeah, I did that. I got real soft when I had my baby. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
I had to. I did. Like I got a picture with it somewhere, but I had it. It was amazing, and it just off me too. Like it wasn't even about me. I didn't even think to know that it was doing something for her. It just was something like me just pulling something like that close to me. So I guess you know. So it was good. I like that.
Did you cry?
I cried a couple times. I still be crying now. I ain't gonna lie. Like I like the whole, you know, I ain't got a million kids and all that, but I'm good with my one. And I still cry to this day when I touch a hug. It still feel like the same day. And the same fire that she gave me is the same. It's like it's crazy. The best experience ever on that.
So let me ask you another question. How is it being a teacher in early childhood dealing with the infants and toddlers now in the setting that you're working in?
What made it difference that I can't just how I parent. Like I feel like I'm a good parent and everything, but of course it's different here because it's different other ways that we go by the policy here, and I got to follow the policy, right? So I go by that, but it all works out so good though because now I'm learning about multiple kids and how to. So when I go to my daughter, it all work out good. It's crazy how it all work out good. Like it all fit perfect. Like I'm learning more. I probably wouldn't be knowing as much as I know if I wasn't here, and I'd just still be just figuring it out. But this helped a lot being a teacher and everything, and dealing with so many other kids that I don't know and everything. So yeah, it's good.
Okay. So brother DJ, what about you? Being a new father and working in the first year working in the classroom with some younger kids.
I mean, yeah, basically Rick really summed it up for real. Like, you know, I agree with what he said. So
we want to hear what you say though. Go ahead, share it with us. Don't be shy. Go ahead, Holmes.
Ask me one more time. No, I got it. Ask the question one more time. Hey.
So you as a new male teacher working with the younger kids, could you share your experience as being an educator in early child education?
Oh, well, first I learned that here kids learn like through play. So like I learned that you can teach a kid like how to say their name just by, you know, having a little daily name game or something like that. Like kids learn differently. So that's just a different, you know, way I could teach my daughter to, you know.
Okay. I see you braid your daughter hair, so we know you got some braiding skills with your little baby girl.
Some slight, man.
I'm gonna come in and help my partner DJ out. Seeing that I had 2 beautiful girls, it's kind of different because I'm a teacher in an all-male classroom. So I know how to be a man because I'm a man and I'm teaching young men how to be gentlemen. But being an educator, I learned a lot that I can give to my daughters by working with 16 young men. It builds my patience up for children. And so I build patience up for my daughters to really see what they need. capture those understandings about the fine motor skills, the gross motor skills, listening to them with like measurements, like mathematical things, even literacy, understanding the importance of having a conversation. Because the more words I give my daughters, the more words I give my daughter, the more opportunities they'll seek for themselves as they get older. It's very important that a child receive lots of language. I understand that through a lot of trainings that I receive. And by being an educator, that's one of the benefits that I had received being a father, that I receive a lot of trainings that's geared around children, their development, and how I can capture some things that I have missed. And I can ensure that my daughters will not miss it as well, so that they develop properly and also gain more skills and understanding from how they're actually learning, going with what their interests are. I never understood about letting a child lead you. Now I understand, like, let a child lead you and let you understand what they understand and help them where they may need help at. So I'm understanding that. So I have conversations with my daughters. Like, I took her to the pool 2 weeks ago. I threw my 3-year-old daughter, just threw her in the water. She gets out. She said, "Daddy, why did you do that?" I looked at her. I'm like, "Cause Daddy was wanting to see what would you do if you happen to fall in the pool." She said, "But Dad, why did you do that?" I'm like, and it came down to it. Like, I really didn't know why that I did what I did, but I had patience enough to understand that I did hurt her feelings. I was someone who she looked up to as someone as a protector. And by me throwing her in the pool out of nowhere, it kind of altered her view at me at that particular time. But then I got it back. She back loved me and she back trusted me now. So I understand about so many things. Being an educator I'm happy that I am an educator to get the knowledge that I have to keep potentially sharing it. And I'm just learning everything new because I got 2 beautiful girls, but yet I'm teaching 16, 18 young men in the classroom. So it's something new. It's something new.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Holmes. Appreciate you for sharing that. Irvin?
Well, kind of like Mr. Holmes stated, and as parents and as educators, observations is the best way to assess our children's developmental milestones. It takes skills to become an accomplished observer, really to be able to watch. But as parents, we can be better, we get better understanding of our children or our child, like their behaviors, their skills, their knowledge, and their feelings, if we watch and pay close attention to our children's unique abilities. One thing about children in the early stages is when they're in the womb, they're listening, they're able to see, and they're able to hear. So these are all the things that we have to do in the early part of the life, where Mr. Holmes was speaking about introducing words, reading books, all those positive things that you give your child before they even come out of the womb. So we have to be intentional about the strategies that we provide for our children. We have to be intentional about observing these, I guess you would say, learning stages for our children. We all have learning stages. We have a practice stage and we have a mastery stage that our children go through, and even as us as well as adults, because these are levels that we have to accomplish throughout our, I guess you would say, developmental milestone. So yes, you always have to be remembering about all these quality steps, but these are communication skills that you have to establish with your partner, whomever that you are bringing this child with, or whoever you're sharing this household with, so everybody can be on the same page and give the child the ultimate, support that they really need.
So yeah, thank you, Irvin, for that. So here at Focus Hope, we are one of the program to have a lot of men that work in the early childhood field. We have male teachers, assistant teachers, custodials, drivers. We have a male director, male education specialist. We have a male site manager. We have male family service workers. Have a male early Head Start teachers. We have a fatherhood initiatives specialist who focus on giving male tools. And this conversation we have today is great because you're hearing from a male perspective. I'm sure that a lot of us are using wrong terminology, but we only can share what we see and what we've been through in the experience at this time. And a lot of it through our own vision and eyes is stuff we was not trained for ahead of time. Cool, fellas, we agree to that?
Half of it, yes.
Okay, all right, we agree to that. So a lot of these tools that we have now, we have to grow through them, or somebody just told us to try this, but you really and truly understand what you was doing at that time. But then when you actually did it, again, for me, cutting the umbilical cord for me, uh, really, I still don't understand that whole process. Like Holmes said, he thought he was having another baby when the placenta was coming out. Uh, and for me, I just didn't understand and still don't how it just didn't hurt the baby because it was connected to the baby. But the joy for me was always to see my baby girl laying on my chest and feeling her heartbeat and letting her feel mine. Uh, so as we continue to share, I just want to point out them things. A lot of this conversation is coming from male perspectives, things that we see and we learn, and some things we still don't know. Can we agree to that, fellas?
Yeah, I agree. I love that new cry though. That first two days, or first day or second day cry that a baby have. That tone that they have is something soothing to an individual. What they call that white noise or something like that. Like something common for an adult. I know I was very calm when I heard that noise. It sounded so pure, of an unseen or unheard sound. It was just so pure. I loved it though.
Okay. So again, to here, folks, so we do have a spot for women can breastfeed at. We do support a lot of women during the breastfeeding process. So let's talk about some things that we can do again before we close out of how we can support women during the whole process. So we did watch a movie called Toxic. Let's go back a bit. We watched a movie called Toxic. How many fellas remember that movie? You just raise your hand if you remember that movie. And the movie Toxic, we reviewed that movie, and it showed us the experience that what women go through during the process of giving birth, and some of the things that she experienced on the job, health-wise, and so on. It didn't get too much in detail, but we did see that movie. Anybody want to share their thoughts to that?
I'm gonna just share my thoughts on it.
Go ahead, Holmes.
That Toxic really woke me up, and it started bringing a lot of things to light to me. The main thing that really get to me with that movie was when the young lady, the mother, went to her doctor visit, and she was expressing her pain. And the doctor was of a different ethnicity or different cultural race, whatever the case may be, and did not give the mother any kind of eye contact, understanding, feeling where the mother's coming from. Didn't really take the mother words very seriously. You know what I'm saying? This mother expressing her pain she was having with the child inside of her. And it was just the mother present in the doctor's office, not having that second voice. Really, I think really kind of hindered that baby from really being born. You know what I'm saying? And I do be active with my significant other when her visits for the doctor, but I was not welcome the first time that I was trying to go to those visits, and because I broke down some tears, the women at the counter had felt some sympathy for me and allowed me to go back there because they said you have all the rights. It took two people to make that child. You have all rights to go in there because not all the time the woman can communicate what the doctor say was going on currently with the child that's inside the stomach. And when I was granted the access to go back there, it's a different atmosphere that comes about. Cause I guess a lot of guys are not commonly in those visits with the woman. And so I felt like I was unwanted to be back there. And I felt like the practice that was going to be done was not done due to my presence being in that office. But I had to witness doctors not taking my significant other seriously when she was expressing her pain, and we ended up losing the child. But I made sure that I did not lose her, and I got her out of that hospital and took her to a hospital where I felt was more safe. And they said, "Thank you, sir, because had you not brought her, you would lost her. We can't save your child, but we can save the mother." And I was like, I'm thankful that, like I said, I'm having a child coming soon. I'm hoping for a boy, but as long as the child is in good health, I'm okay with that. You feel me?
Thank you so much for sharing, Holmes. Marcus Holmes, I know you had your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, just to touch on the original question about the Toxic video, is it displayed how the stresses of everyday life can really affect a pregnant woman, from her older son having trouble in school, from her husband/boyfriend or whatever not being supportive or not being engaged at home, from her job stress of everyday life. It really had an effect on that mother, and she ended up having a miscarriage.
So, one point that we do talk about a lot, and one of our conversations in fatherhood, we talked about a lot of males who are not involved during a pregnancy at the beginning due to not establishing what word I'm looking for? Help me out, Marcus. Paternity, but not establishing paternity. And we know sometimes it takes 6 months to a year for paternity to be established. But as well, we talk about how all men can support women during the process of pregnancy. And it's our responsibility to support all women, whether it's your sister, mother, cousin, niece, daughter, or just your coworker, how you can support her during the pregnancy and things to look out for. Do anybody want to share some techniques and strategies that we can look out for and things that we can support women with during pregnancy?
During pregnancy, I guess for the most part, you want to do everything to make her comfortable, man. Foot rubs, back rubs, anything to relieve any type of extra stress. Going to McDonald's to get those French fries at 1:30 and you know they close at 2. But you know, going an extra mile. I know as a man, we fixers. A lot of things that we like to do, we'll fix it, but we're gonna fuss while we fixing it. So we have to take our personal out of it and really make it all about that woman for that next 9 months. And well, actually 12 months, because the next 3 months or 4 months after she had a baby, she's still going back into her original transition form. So we just have to be supported throughout that whole duration. Try and figure out ways to, listen, it's all on us. It's either we're going to do what's positive and what's right to make it better for everybody, or or it's going to just be a struggle for everybody in the end. And that's not what we want.
Okay.
I just say get a cooler. Keep a cooler so you keep a couple different fruits and vegetables inside, water, apple juice, orange juice, because sometimes even with the kids upset, ask them if they hungry. Attitude gonna change. So I think just make sure you have those nutritional snacks that can help support the woman's body to ensure that their feelings and their emotions are still intact through this journey that trying to create someone, that the child will be healthy, because you want to have a healthy woman so that the child can be healthy, because the woman emotions can affect the child, as we've seen in the toxic movie. And losing someone, that's hurtful all across the board. We don't wish that up on no one. We just look for best health overall from the male, from the woman, and to the newborn, and any existing children that's around. We cannot forget about any existing children that's already there, because they get forgot about a lot, I see as well. So we just be mindful to be open-minded, to have open love, and keeping that generator around by eating healthy, doing healthy things, and starting getting to know each other more differently. Where have y'all came from and where we're looking to go. So that's why I think can be more supportive and help out the women, just knowing that everything's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So we have a question here. Do we teach safe sleep practices such as safe sleep? And yes, we do. We do have people from the health department come in and teach safe sleep. Men do participate in some safe sleep events. We are coming. We're going to have a community baby shower for our young fathers, 16 and 24, to give them the essential needs that they need for their child. A lot of times we see that men that do have a child, women don't let them use a car seat or a bed. A lot of times men don't have it because we have a lot of fathers out here co-parenting. So we're going to help support the fathers with essential needs they need. We also give the women the same items. Why?
Yes.
Okay. Any brothers in the room want to share anything? Cliff, being a single father.
I see Nate hand up back there.
Okay.
Wait,
I really don't have that much to share. I think at the time that I came to Focus Hope, my daughter was maybe about 3. And so I will say that Focus Hope and the staff at Focus Hope is a very big game changer for probably anybody's life, because it's abundance of information, it's abundance of help. It's a place in the community that it gives you a lot more different things other than just material things. It helps change your perspective on how you see what your situation is. And when you're able to change your perspective on your own situation, you're able to change the perspective on the future of your children. And so being a single father, I learned a lot here at Focus Hope. My daughter grew up here in Focus Hope. And, you know, I see how other fathers come here and we able to have a place to where we can feel as though we can talk about the things that affect us most. We can talk about the things that might affect our children and be able to relate to our children. So, you know, just from that, my experience here at Focus Hope, totally, even before I became an employee here at Focus Hope, has been just really a great overall experience. And I would recommend it to any man to participate in anything here at Focus Hope, because really I've been a lot of places, and that type of help and that type of information is just not easily given. And then when it is given, I will be honest, I have worked for some of the nonprofits where it's basically really about your social security number so they can get their bag. It's not going that extra length, you know? So basically, I will say that this is a great place to be.
Thank you, Cliff. So you're going to make sure you get your raise in your next check, because you shout out Focus Hope so many times. Just going to make sure that you get that. You really promoted us so well. Thank you so much. We about to get down to final thoughts. Marcus, you just want to share information and tell a little about Men in Motion before they can, any father that needs support, how they can reach out to you. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Once again, this is Focus Hope, Early Learning and Youth Development. We have a male fatherhood initiative program that we have monthly meetings. We have one-on-one sessions. We have anything that a male may need to help engage his family, further his education, get educated on things as like safe sleep, child infant mortality, breastfeeding, furthering your education, child support assistance. There's a plethora of things that we offer here at Focus Hope. You can reach me at marcus.holmes@focushope.edu, or you can give me a call at 248-915-6734, and we're willing to work with you in whatever way that you need. We're here for the community. We're here for the families. Let's make the Black family great again.
Thank you so much. Mr. Jordan Irvin, education specialist, could you share some thoughts?
Well, for one, everybody, I want to say thank you for attending and engaging in our forum here. Myself, I focus directly on education, and I love everything based around literacy. Communicating with your families, reading to your children on a daily basis, reading to your child when he or she is in the womb, enjoying books, creating. As fathers, we have the best imaginations in the world. Our children love when we change our voices. Our children love when we act real goofy. Our children love when we just being dad. And that's what we have to take into this. And we learn from this, and we take it to every day with our children. Being there, supporting our families, creating opportunities for our loved ones, and being great to each other.
Thank you. Juan, as an education, you want to share some thoughts?
So one of the things that we are really proud of is just really creating that environment that's conducive for a father, the mother to come, to be safe, and to really learn, because there's so much going on out there that if they have a safe place that they can come to, they'll learn based on the experiences they can have Especially that's what we look at creating here with the men, the women, and everybody, the different doulas, even the other parents who come in and volunteer and give input and advice from perspectives to help everybody involved. So those are the things that we look at creating is the space, along with the educational curriculum and everything else that makes it a best place to learn.
Thank you so much, Juan. Donnell Holmes Jr., as a male teacher, you want to share any final thoughts? Donnell Holmes Jr., you want to share your final thoughts?
My final thoughts. I'm happy to be a part of this, express the things I learned, the things that I'm able to share. I'm happy to be an educator, working with children. I'm here trying to close the generational gap by any means. Any information that I can share to my families that's new to me, I'm willing to share it, keep the knowledge going. Final thoughts, just being supportive overall and looking for some type of opportunities for us male to be, start looked up on, like we need some breaks too. I think I go through postpartum when the woman going through it, but we don't know yet. Research ain't been developed. Just want more research to go out around pregnancy for us males and females.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Corey Jackson, you want to share where they can tell us a little bit about the enrollment process and the age that we accept kids?
Okay, we accept kids from 0. Cut that off. Turn it down some, Lou. From 0 to 5 years old. We are enrolling families right now for early learning as well as regular Head Start. Things that our families will need to start the enrollment process will be ID, child insurance card, child birth certificate, and the 2020 W-2 1040. So if you guys know any families that's looking for a place to put their child for this coming school year, have them contact me at 313-494-4429. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. All right, we ending this wonderful discussion. Do any other gentlemen have anything they want to share? I don't want to leave nobody out. Lou, Kiwi, you got anything y'all want to share?
I got one more thing, sir.
Yes.
If we make them, we got to take care of them. Just want to say that.
Thank you, sir,
we
for sharing.
We make the babies, we got to take care of the babies.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure that women would appreciate that, sir. Thank you. So final thoughts from me. This is a great discussion. We are here to support all men and women. We are here to protect our women. Men are protectors and providers. We have a wonderful workforce program. We have a lot of grandparents that are helping raise and support their families. So we do have, we feed 44,000 seniors. So we do have a food pantry here for our seniors. And also we give away food boxes to help support the family. We have a wonderful advocacy program. So please, if you need an advocacy work, you need anything, the Focus Hope family are here to support you and also to be there with you. Thank you so much for participating. We are signing off. One Focus Hope. And don't forget our wonderful partners, BIFA, I'm sorry. Black Mothers Breastfeeding, Kadada, I'm so sorry. Please support that program. Please support Kadada and all the women that participate. Send quick, everybody. Thank you. You muted, Crystal.
Thank you so much, Waymond. This was a wonderful, dynamic conversation. I really loved the authenticity and the knowledge that was shared. It is a beautiful sight to see brothers up on the screen talking about their experience and sharing all the knowledge that they learned. Thank you for giving a shout out to Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association, BIFA, who are the founders and sponsors of Black Breastfeeding Week. Everyone, make sure that you're following them on social media at BMBFA. And in October, they are having a virtual experience that is a breastfeeding and birth conference. That'll be Monday, October 4th through Wednesday, October 6th, and it'll be a virtual conference. So make sure that you're following them on social media so you can get all the details on that. Thank you all so much for a Really good Manday Monday conversation. Shout out to y'all. I really appreciate it. So y'all have a good day and happy breastfeeding week, everyone. And thank you to everyone, to our panelists, to Focus Hope, and also to everyone who watched today. You could have been anywhere else, and we're grateful that you were here. Thank you for keeping the chat active. The chat was really live. You all got a lot of love in the chat. So make sure you go back and read all of those comments. So until next year, thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.